Today, I'm going to share with you a secret that's essential to building the life you want. It'll help you accomplish any goal, big or small, and fast track your personal growth and development. Interested? Let's get into it. Mirror, mirror, seeing yourself and others. Throughout history, various spiritual teachers and leaders have professed that separation is an illusion. Today, the world's foremost scientists agree. Research on phenomena such as quantum entanglement seems to be yet another example of science proving what spirituality has long known. Everything connects. So, how can you use this information to create the life you want? I'm almost there. But first, I need to show you a powerful quote by the world-renowned psychiatrist Carl Jung. Jung rivaled Sigmund Freud and is easily one of history's most revered psychoanalysts. He once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." The lessons I've learned from studying the works of spiritual teachers, hardcore scientists, and legendary psychoanalysts have led me to an understanding. When someone or something annoys you, irritates you, angers you, or you have some sort of conflict in your life, what's really happening is the universe is showing you a part of yourself that you need to fix within yourself. I'm going to say that again. When you find yourself irritated, annoyed, upset about a situation, mad about a person's behavior, you are seeing externally in someone else a reflection of something that needs to be fixed internally within you. Once you develop the eyes to see this, looking at conflict becomes like looking in a mirror. Now, I know that part of you is uncomfortable hearing this because each of us has two parts, the ego or the flesh and the soul or the spirit. The ego is the lowest part of us, the unconscious part. If separation is an illusion, then ego lives in that illusion. It lives in separation. It lives in pettiness. It lives in complaining and blaming. It lives in painting itself as the victim or the hero. It lives in us versus them. It lives in fault finding and pointing the finger. It lives in excuses. It lives in all those dark, low energy vibrations. Your ego doesn't like to hear that the problem is you. The spirit, on the other hand, lives in light. It lives in unity, harmony, empathy, compassion, understanding, forgiveness. It lives in laughter, non-judgment, love, all those high vibrational energies. The quickest way to build the life you want is by living the moments of your life in spirit, not ego. Being able to see yourself and others is key to succeeding in whatever you're trying to accomplish because, again, the old you wasn't strong enough to handle the reality you're trying to create. As you walk toward your goals and your goals walk toward you, you have to grow into the person who can handle that success. The universe understands that, even if you don't. So conflicts, annoyances, and irritation are the universe giving you an opportunity to grow into that person. But if in the face of that conflict, you can only look outward, play victim, blame others, paint yourself as right and others as wrong, you miss that critical opportunity for self-improvement. Think of it like a video game, and your goal or the reality you want to create for yourself is like the main boss. The conflicts and irritations you experience along the way are smaller bosses. If you can't find your faults in moments of conflict, you fail that level. And life will make you replay the board. You keep finding yourself in similar situations over and over again until you figure out that the only boss you ever really have to beat is yourself. The umbrella of transgression. There's a few things to keep in mind while you're learning to master this way of seeing. The first is that a character flaw can be expressed in many different ways, like different branches of one tree, different symptoms of the same illness. One person in a relationship may show selfishness by cheating. The other person may never cheat. They can't see the correlation, but they show their selfishness by intentionally trapping the other with a baby. Different expressions under the same umbrella of transgression, selfishness. You need to develop the ability to identify the umbrella of behavior that's upsetting you and others. You'll become like a spiritual doctor, treating the cause, not the symptoms. Here's a personal example of me seeing this at play in my own life. I have a 9-year-old son, super smart kid. Last year, when it was time for him to do homework, it was a nightmare. He'd stare at the paper. He'd say he didn't know what to do. He'd say he didn't know how to do it. He'd cry. Awful. The thing is, when we would sit down and just talk about his assignments, he knew exactly what to do. He had creative ideas. He understood the subject matter at an advanced level. It was awesome. But when it was time to actually do the work, meltdown. My ego reaction was anger. I took it as disrespect. I made it about me because that's what egos do. I was relatively new to this mirror understanding, so although I kind of knew there was something for me to learn about myself through this conflict, it would take me a long time to actually see the lesson clearly. Back then, it might take me months to make the connections that I can now make within a few minutes. Then, one day as I sat quietly in reflection, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was doing the exact same thing as him with his homework, but I was doing it with Everything Connects. For years, I'd had these ideas about creating a show that would help strengthen people's spirit, to help people who came from similar backgrounds as me to not only laugh and have fun, but also to make better sense of the world around us, to help evolve people's understanding, knowing that as they evolved, I would evolve because everything connects. I talked about it. I had creative ideas about it. I understood the subject matter, but when it was time to actually do the work, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. Meltdown. So what was our umbrella of transgression? In this case, overthinking. A phrase I heard once came rushing back to me. Overanalysis leads to paralysis. It took me a while to see it, but once I did, it changed everything for him and me. As you're learning to master this understanding, keep these few things in mind. First of all, for most people, the voice you hear in your head, the voice narrating your life, is the voice of ego, not the voice of spirit. This is especially true in conflict. The voice in your head that makes an argument about why you're right and someone else is wrong, long after the moment has passed, that's ego. That voice is not your friend, and that voice is not you. Science has now proven that as you think or react to a situation, neural pathways are created in your brain that basically establish a route. Then, when faced with any similar situation, or even remotely similar, your brain takes that most similar route, which triggers the same reaction. That little mind trick is supposed to make things easier for us. It allows us to think quicker and without having to process as much information. However, if the reactionary pathways that you've established are in ego and not in spirit, you have some reprogramming to do. But the good news is our minds are pliable. We can easily create new pathways. We just have to stay awake and consciously choose our actions and reactions. When that happens, you can manifest anything you want. Am I perfect at this? Of course not. But when somebody is rude to me, for example, I feel upset for a short period of time, but then I immediately turn that into, you know what? Let me make sure that I'm being kind and patient with other people. And if I can find the humility in that moment, I try to start with that person. I try to give them what I feel they did not give me, because I know that a person can only give what they have inside of them. It took me a long time to learn that, but that's real strength. That's me choosing my response and choosing the reality I want to create. Because if I'm rude to you because you're rude to me, then I'm giving you my strength. I'm letting you determine how I'm going to act. But by giving you what you didn't give me, it transforms the whole situation. When you do that, you bring light to darkness. When you first start to practice this mirror understanding, you'll see it very clearly in others. Oh, dang, she's mad at her for being this way, but she's the same way just toward him, not her. And she don't even see herself in the whole thing. She's stupid. It's exciting. It feels good to see what's happening and understand the next level of the game. But avoid the temptation to judge them for not seeing what you can now plainly see. That's the ego again, trying to sneak in the back door. You have to stay diligent in thoughts. Stay in spirit. Just know that if you see your friend being oblivious to how everything connects, you probably have ways that you're oblivious to it in your life, and that's why you're seeing it. So don't judge, just stay in spirit. And remember the proverb, there, but for the grace of God, go I. I want to leave you with this. Your ego can be a nasty little creature. It'll do anything to protect itself. If it senses that you're trying to take control back from it, it will turn on you too. So when you're looking for yourself in the shortcomings of others, don't let your ego attack you. When you're experiencing a conflict of some sort, don't let your ego tell you, another conflict, you're doing something else wrong. Man, all these bad experiences, you must be a horrible person. Everything connects, right? I guess that means you brought this on yourself. That's the ego's last ditch to stay in control. Don't fall for it. The point of seeing yourself in others is to gain understanding, not to blame or beat yourself up. It's to become fully aware, to wake all the way up so you can improve moving forward. Don't try to fight your ego, because by fighting, you strengthen it. All you have to do to dissolve the lowest parts of yourself is be aware. Be awake. Observe. Pay attention to what's happening within you. And soon, you'll be in total control of what's happening outside of you. Because if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's this. Everything connects. Love and respect.